Hey, what's going on, Jam Fam? So we got the new Brawl Talk. We got our first round of sneak peeks. I wrote down a whole bunch of notes going through everything. So today I want to talk about my W's and L's for this upcoming Brawl Stars update. So we're going to talk about what I like, what I dislike, and you guys can let me know your thoughts about everything down in the comments. But let's jump right into it. Let's talk about the first thing that I like coming in this update.
Hey, that's pretty good.
All right, so the first thing I want to talk about, and I think it's the thing that most people are going to be hyped for, and that's going to be Classic Brawl. Now, I do think Classic Brawl is going to be a fun event, and I am pretty hyped for it, and I'm going to give it a W here, but I don't think it's going to be a perfect event, and I do have a couple concerns going into it. So let's talk about everything, and I'm going to break it down in sections, and let's start with boxes. All right, so I'll be the first to admit, I was very skeptical about boxes going into this event. I thought worst case scenario, they were just going to reskin star drops as boxes, which I think would have been super lame. Luckily, they didn't do that. We are actually getting a whole nother resource reward in the shape of boxes, so I think that's very cool. And luckily, unlike the monster eggs that we got last season, you're actually going to get tangible rewards to progress your account, where the monster eggs were mostly used for getting mutations and some of the skins, and you got very little resources out of them. Most of the time, like I said, you were getting mutations, and those went away at the end of the season, and you got no compensation for that. So if you bought all the monster eggs like some losers like me, then you got basically nothing for all the gems you spent. But luckily with boxes, it sounds like the main rewards are going to be resources. So that's going to be your gold, your power points. You're going to get some blings, and you even have a chance of getting gems out of them, which I think is very cool. It's very nice to see Brawl Stars actually giving out free gems now that gems aren't tied to just getting the Brawl Pass. But I do have two concerns about the mega boxes we're going to be getting. Now, the first thing I do have a concern about, it seems like we're actually going to get a very low number of mega boxes. Now, I could be wrong about this, but from Kairos Time's video, it seems like we're only going to get a couple mega boxes every week, like one or two every couple days or so. And that's because you have to earn star tokens to actually get your mega boxes, and it seems like you're only going to get a couple of those every day. You're going to get two from one of the random events for the day, and then you're going to get two from the special game modes for the season. So you're going to get four right off the bat, and then they're going to throw in a couple quests here and there to help you get a couple more. But it really depends on how many of those quests we're actually getting, because you need 10 star tokens to actually get one full mega box. And if they're only giving us 4 a day, that means without a quest, it's going to take us 3 days to get a mega box. But if they give us a quest every day, then we should get a mega box every other day if it works out that way. But we'll end up seeing what happens when the actual update drop. And the other concern I have is that if you're trying to chase one of the skins in those brawl boxes, say you're a maxed out player or you're getting your max and you don't really care about your power points or your gold, then it seems like it's going to be a little tough to get one of those skins. Now, the numbers are a little funny on how easy it is to get a skin. Now, every mega box is going to have 10 drops in it, and each drop has a 5% chance to get a skin. Now, the way math works, it doesn't necessarily correlate to a 50% chance to get a skin every mega box. That would be absurd. And honestly, I don't know the exact numbers about what it would actually be, but I can tell you that 5% per drop seems really low, and I feel like it's going to be a little tough to get one of these skins. Now, apparently, after 10 mega boxes, you are guaranteed to get at least one of the Rico Hypercharge skins. Now, I don't know if it's guaranteed to be like the base one, or if it's any of the three, but hopefully it's any of the three, because I really want the bling one, and I really don't care about the other two, if I'm totally honest. So the guaranteed Hypercharge skin is nice, but if you're trying to get one of those other skins, then it seems like you're kind of at RNG's mercy if you want to get it out of a box without buying it out of the shop. So hopefully you get lucky, but to me, it seems like those drop rates at 5% chance is extremely low. So hopefully it's not that bad. Hopefully, I'm wrong and people are getting skins like crazy, but we'll end up finding out what happens there. All right, so the next notable thing to talk about in this update, other than boxes and the skins, is going to be the new game modes. Now, the first thing I want to mention about the new game modes is not the game modes themselves, but the modifier, and that being Classic Brawl, where the roster is very limited and not all brawlers are going to be available in play. Now, I actually think this would be a really cool modifier to keep in the game for something like Mega Pig, or maybe even like early season of ranked or whatever, where it would cut the roster in a third and you would only be able to play the OG brawlers. I think that would be really interesting, because it would let brawlers that aren't really popular or that struggle with some of the newer brawlers, it would give them a chance to shine. Now, the problem here is that the game modes these are applied to don't give you a chance to select your own brawler. The game picks a brawler for you, and you have to play with that brawler. So the modifier doesn't really get a chance to shine for what it actually could be with this limited selection method. But now let's actually talk about the game modes themselves, and I'm going to talk about the one I like the most first, and that's going to be Drumroll. I think Drumroll is a really cool game mode, and I'm very excited to try it out. Now, when I first saw it, I thought it was just going to be Showdown, where they give you the random brawler map, and then, you take over the brawler you kill, but if you die, then you're out of the game. I thought that was going to be a little lame. I like the idea there, but I wasn't big on it being a showdown match, mainly because I hate showdown and teaming sucks, so I just don't like showdown. But now that we've gotten the sneak peeks and I've actually seen the game mode being played, I actually really like it, and I'm very excited to try it out myself. It's kind of like Gun Game from Call of Duty, where they give you a brawler list that you got to go through. Everybody starts with the exact same brawler and has to move through the brawler list the exact same way, and it's all about who you attack, how you like target people, and how like quickly you can progress through, because the first person to finish the track actually wins the match. Then on top of that, it's not just showdown. It's not like you die and you're out of the game. You actually get to respawn, and they don't downgrade your brawler when you respawn. So if you get like 3/4 of the way through, you die, you're not restarting from the back or like losing any progress. You just respawn and then you just keep going on with the match. So overall, I think Drum Roll is going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited to try it out, but I cannot say the exact same thing about Mirror Mode. I think Mirror Mode is the laziest and most boring mode they could ever think of, and I'm not excited to play it at all. I'm going to suffer when I play this game mode. Now, your opinion is probably going to vary from mine, but one of the reasons I really don't like pushing newer brawlers is because a lot of times, especially like around 100 trophies, you get matched against everybody who's playing that exact same brawler, and it makes the game very unenjoyable for me. I always feel like these matches are very spammy and low skill, and I'm not excited about pushing new brawlers, and this game mode is literally just that, but instead of it being new brawlers, it's OG brawlers. Now, the idea of it being low skill and spammy, that obviously depends on the brawlers themselves. So something like Colt and Piper, those are obviously going to be more high skill. It's all about aiming and precision and all that stuff. So obviously those brawlers don't really count for what I'm trying to complain about here. But a match of 6 Primos, 6 Shellys, 6 Bulls, all just running right at each other, mashing auto aim and super all at the exact same time, it's going to be very unfun, very spammy, and very low skill, and I'm just not excited to play it personally. And then there's my nightmare, and that's going to be 3v3 mirror match Poco. Now, Poco, I like playing. I think he's a very fun brawler, but a match of 6 Pocos just mashing auto aim, charging their supers, and healing up their whole team nonstop is going to be super annoying. No one's going to enjoy that. It's going to be the longest match ever. There's going to be like 1 or 2 kills maybe, and it's just going to be like very unenjoyable. I don't think anyone's really going to enjoy it, and I think it's really going to show the flaws of this specific game mode. So overall, I think Classic Brawl is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get some good rewards out of it that are actually tangible for your account, unlike mutations, and I do think that Drum Roll is a very good mode, but the only thing that stopped me from giving it the biggest W I could possibly ever give it is the fact that Mirror Match is going to be kind of unfun, and that's kind of like one of the main features of the mode, and I do think the skin drop rates are a little low, so hopefully I'm wrong about the skin drop rates, but I don't think I'm wrong about Mirror Mode, and for those 2 reasons, I'm going to give it a like regular size W.
I see this as an absolute win.
All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about my next W, and that's going to be the new season coming in August, and that's going to be Splatoon Brawl, aka Paint Brawl. Paint Brawl is its legal name, but I'm going to call it Splatoon Brawl because that's actually what it is. If you want to call it Paint Brawl, that's fine, but I'm going to call it Splatoon Brawl as we move through this video. Anyway, I think that Splatoon Brawl could be one of the best seasons we've gotten in a very long time, and that's because unlike 2 years ago when they tried this with Otis, they're actually really leaning into the inspirations. During the Otis season, it was just kind of hinted at. This season, you can definitely tell that it is 100% inspired by Splatoon, and you can tell that through not only the skins, but also the new game mode. So let's talk about those because those are my favorite things about this season. All right, so let's kick things off with the skins because it's not the main thing that I'm the most excited about, but I do really like the skins overall. I think all the skins are great. I think they look really amazing, and the only issue I have like that I can complain about is that they're on brawlers that I don't typically play, like Bonnie and Jackie. But all these skins are fire. They're basically just street clothes with bright, vibrant colors that contrast all over the place, and they just like overall aesthetically look really nice, you know? I think my favorite is probably the Jackie skin. I think that one has amazing animations, and while all the skins look really good, I think Jackie's particularly looks like the best. I'm also really excited for the Sprout skin. I think it's a very interesting skin. It does a lot of different stuff from his other skins, and I'm excited to see what the effects and the animations actually look like, so stay tuned for that if I do a skin review on it. So all the skins are actually really good. Like I said, I'm excited about all of them, but I think the main reason why I'm so excited about Splatoon Brawl is because of the new mode, Paint Brawl, and I think this is probably one of the best modes that they could have actually done. It seems like they did a really good job, like, you know, working it into Brawl Stars, and I think this could be 100% a permanent mode eventually. First off, it's a really cool control-based mode where you're trying to get kills to make your enemies explode into paint, and the more paint of your color that's on the ground gets you more percentage, and that's how you win. So basically, you don't want to die, and you want to get a lot of kills to try to win the mode. But to help you out a little bit, in case you struggle with kills, you can actually use a paintball to move through the map to spread your paint around as much as possible. So there's actually like 2 win conditions here. You can either go for a whole bunch of kills and control the map, or you can use the paintball to color the map your color as much as possible. If you just hold it and run around with it, you're going to paint everything all over the place. You don't necessarily have to kick it. So yeah, overall, I'm very excited for Paint Brawl. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play. I think people are really going to enjoy it. I know I'm probably going to enjoy it a lot because it is a control-based mode with a little aspect of Brawl Ball as well to add a little bit of flavor there. So I think that's very cool. And I think my dream is for it to become a 5v5 mode where there's 10 players, 5v5 on a big ass like showdown map, and we're all like trying to, you know, get as much paint all over the place as possible. I think it'd be a lot of fun. It could be very hectic, and I'm just excited to see how the community receives it.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
All right, so I just glazed up Splatoon Brawl for a few minutes, and in fact, I haven't complained very much at all in this video, so now we're going to move on to actually talking about the Brawlers, and I am a little bit mixed on the Brawlers, as I usually am. I'm going to give one a W and one an L, and we're going to start with the L, and that's going to be the weakest part of the Splatoon Brawl season, Clancy. I'm not excited for Clancy at all, and let's talk about why. All right, so first off, I don't think Clancy is going to be very good. I think he's going to be just okay, but we have a lot of damage dealer brawlers to begin with, so he's got a lot of competition in that regard, and I don't even think he has interesting mechanics because we've already seen a better version of a ramp-up mechanic on Surge, and I think Clancy's just a worse version of that. So in regards to Surge, he actually changes as a brawler as you upgrade him. He gets faster, he gets more range, and then finally his attack changes and gets a little bit stronger. And the entire time, you have a super that is mobility, so you can either jump on people, jump away from people, avoid attacks, that type of stuff. So Surge is a very cool brawler in those regards. Clancy really doesn't have any of that. His attack seems kind of bad, and it's constantly changing, so it's kind of hard to get used to. And then, as he upgrades, his super really only gets bigger and shoots out more shots. It's not very exciting in my opinion. I think it's kind of boring. It's like the laziest way you could do any form of ramp-up mechanic. Moving back to his main attack, I think at stage 3, it's going to be kind of bad. Like, you're really not going to be counting on the Sidewinder shots very often. At least I know I won't because I'm not very good. Maybe the pros will be able to take full advantage of it, but me personally, I think I'm going to be mainly using the main attack, and then if the Sidewinder shots hit anything, that's cool, money in the bank. Maybe the Sidewinder shots will get some value, like trying to shoot around a corner or something like that, like when you're hiding or whatever, but I think for the most part, most people are just going to use the center attack, and like I said, if the Sidewinder shots hit anything, then it's kind of a benefit. But if the main mechanic of a brawler is like, oh, this might happen and you might benefit sometimes from it, then I don't think it's very good. And then, like I said, the super just getting bigger and shooting out more projectiles, while it can be good, it seems a little boring, not very exciting, you know, so like, again, mid to me. As of right now, we haven't gotten the Clancy sneak peeks yet, but I will say, as of right now, just looking at Brawl Talk, it looks like he's not going to need his super to upgrade. It's actually going to be based on how many projectiles he actually hits. That charges that little bar next to his health. So if you don't have to use your super to actually upgrade, I guess the mechanic is okay in that regard because, like, you know, you're getting rewarded for landing your shots. Not only are you charging your super, but you're also going to upgrade eventually. But it also has the drawback to where you die, you start with 0 charge on your upgrade, and you have to start out from scratch again, which can be very frustrating to play if you're a Surge player and you don't have the right star power on, and you have to constantly keep resetting. That can be very unfun. Again, we haven't seen the Clancy sneak peeks, so I could be entirely wrong about this. I might fall in love with him after his sneak peeks, but just the eyeball test from Brawl Talk, I'm not excited. I think he's a little boring, and I don't think he's going to be, like, crazy to play or anything like that. All right, so there are 2 brawlers in this update, and I actually like one of those, and that is going to be Barry. So while I did just dunk on Clancy a little bit, I'm going to glaze Barry up here. I am excited for Barry. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so just from the Brawl Talk, the eyeball test, Barry passes it, and I think he's going to be a very OP brawler. There's a lot of things this brawler does very well. He's got a lot of things in his kit, and he's going to be, like, very useful in most teams. So Barry is the thrower, but not only is he the thrower, but he can also heal his teammates. So in that regard, he's kind of like Byron mixed with Barley, and I think overall that kit combination is going to be very strong. But to add to that, he's also got a mobility super so that if any like assassins or tanks gets in his face, he can use his super to get away from them. And when he uses his super, he leaves ice cream behind him. So there's like no weakness on this brawler. And I would say this is balanced out by the fact that it might be hard to charge his super, but instead they actually gave him a trait where he actually charges his super from healing himself and teammates, which is totally broken. And I actually like this trait a lot, but on this brawler, it's going to be very strong. I think really Barry's biggest weakness is going to be just the amount of damage he can output because his normal attack looked like it only did about 1,300 damage. Now, I don't know if that's damage over time where it ticks like Barley's. If it is, then it's really not going to be that bad. But if it's only like 1 incident damage, say something like Sprout or Dynamite, then it's going to be pretty weak. But he brings so much utility to a team in regards of like just area control, you know, mobility and healing and constant supers and stuff like that. I don't see how this brawler could be anything worse than A tier, honestly. So I really like Barry. I think that the combination of Byron and Barley in one brawler is a very cool concept. I'm very excited to try it out, and I think I got to give him a W here.
I'm better. I am better.
All right, so I've done a lot of glazing in this video. I've praised a lot of things, and I've only complained a little bit, so I'm going to actually drop my biggest L here. It might be a bit of a hot take, but I think that Stellar Shelly is a big mistake. I think it's a slap in the face to OG players, and I'm not a fan of it. All right, so before we get too far into my complaining, I do think Stellar Shelly is a nice skin. I think the model looks really good. I think the effects are good. The animations are a lot of fun. All that stuff is fine, but I think that Stellar Shelly is a big problem because it does obsolete Star Shelly in a big way. And like I said, I think it's a slap in the face to OG players. So my biggest issue with the remodels of old skin is this exact problem, and it's very compounded here with Star Shelly, because Star Shelly was supposed to be the big prize for people who signed up for the game very early, you know, pre-registers and early accounts. They got Star Shelly, and it's supposed to be an exclusive OG flex for, you know, old accounts that are still playing the game. But now they're remodeling it, and we've already seen this problem with old skins like Urban Ninja Terra updating Street Ninja Terra and Gamer BB updating Heroin BB. Those skins are direct upgrades to old skins, and they obsolete the old skins. But it wasn't a big problem because those skins, while they were exclusive, were not given to OG players as supposed to be like a, you know, reward for being an early supporter of the game, where Star Shelly is, and now you're obsoleting our reward skin for, you know, just giving it to the masses. And to be clear, I didn't think the exclusivity on any other skin was a problem other than Star Shelly. I thought Star Shelly should remain exclusive till the end of time, and every other skin should get re-released, but the community didn't like that, and now we're getting updated models of exclusive skins, and this is the problem. So, right now, Star Shelly is not a desirable skin, in my opinion. I don't think anybody should want it. Even if they resold it as is, I don't think anybody would want to buy it, because it's just not a good skin right now. Star Shelly only comes with a brawler model and custom effects. It doesn't have anything else. It does come with a pin, but it doesn't have any custom animations. It doesn't have a profile picture. And if it's supposed to be an epic skin, then it doesn't meet that criteria. And you can tell that because Brawl Stars didn't even give it a skin rarity when you look at it in the catalog. Then you contrast that with Stellar Shelly, and it comes with all the bells and whistles. It's got a custom model, it's got custom effects, it's got custom animations, it comes with pins and profile pictures. It is definitely an epic skin through and through. It meets all the criteria. In my opinion, there is no reason to play Star Shelly over Stellar Shelly other than the fact that you want to flex your OG status, but you don't even need to do that anymore because they've added your account date onto your profile. So now people know how old your account is just by looking at your profile. They don't need to see that you have Star Shelly to flex that anymore. This wouldn't be a problem if they didn't release a remake or an inspiration or whatever you want to call Stellar Shelly. If they didn't release this skin, it wouldn't be a problem because Star Shelly would be the only skin of its kind. But now you have an updated version of it, and it's just obsolete now. So the only way to make this right, in my opinion, is to give Star Shelly the updated it needs and make it an actual true epic skin at least, if not a mythic skin. They need to give it custom animations, they need to give it actual like profile pictures, and they need to update the effects on it to make it look really flashy and really fancy because, again, Star Shelly just looks terrible compared to Stellar Shelly. I know I ranted a lot here, and I sound a bit gatekeepy and all that, which I don't like. It does feel a little gross. But if Star Shelly is really supposed to be a reward for OG players and the people that, you know, supported the game early on before it was, like, perfect or anything like that, then you need to, like, respect them and actually update Star Shelly to justify us actually wanting to play the skin. Otherwise, it might as well not even be there. All right, so the last big thing I have to talk about from this update is going to be a big W, and that's going to be Frank's rework. Now, Frank, for a long time, has been one of the worst brawlers in the entire game, and that's not because of his HP or his damage. He's actually always had really good HP, really good damage, and his super has always been one of the best in the game, in my opinion. But obviously, he had major drawbacks, and those drawbacks were so huge that it made him impossible to play efficiently or even, like, you know, effectively. So for Frank's rework, what they did was that they now made it so that when he's lower HP, he's going to be able to attack a lot faster. Basically, the less HP you have, the faster your attacks are going to come out. Now, like I said, Frank has always had really good damage, and this is very effective because now, if you get Frank to, like, say, like 50% HP, his attacks are going to come out so quick. If you're way too close to him, you're not going to be able to dodge his attacks like you would before. You were able to, you know, sidestep him and get out of the range of his attacks, but now he's just going to be able to get his attack out almost immediately, and it seems like it's going to be super OP in my opinion. Now, it's notable that they didn't buff his super at all, which I think is a very good call because if he could get his super out that quickly too, that would be a major problem. But still, I think that, like, if he's like a little bit damaged and he ends up getting his super off and you get stunned, you're pretty much done for because he's going to be able to get those attacks out much quicker, and then he's going to cycle his super again. He's going to get another super charged up, and it's going to be insane. Also noteworthy is that he's also getting his hypercharges update, and I think his hypercharge looks like one of the best in the game. He's going to be able to do a massive earthquake around him. It's going to break all the walls and stun everyone in range. I think this is going to be really good if he's hiding behind a wall or whatever, and he wants to just pop his hypercharge, burst out his super, and then charge somebody down. I think Frank is going to be very OP in certain situations. So yeah, I think they did an amazing job with Frank's rework. I think he's probably going to be one of the best brawlers in the entire game for a little bit. I think they overtuned his attack speed buff way too much, and they're going to have to nerf it when they come back from their holiday. But as of right now, I think it's very good for Frank because, like I said, he's been one of the worst brawlers for a very long time, and it's nice to see an old brawler that's, you know, been very bad for a long time get a little bit of love. So I think we can all be fans of Frank for a little bit until we get annoyed and we get, like, you know, destroyed because he's low HP and you couldn't finish him off very quickly. All right, so that's all my L's and W's for this update. Now, there's a lot of things I didn't talk about at all, something like the social features or, you know, the Olympic Brawl skins or anything like that. There's a lot of things that were coming up in this update. I felt very overwhelmed when I was making this list, so I just talked about the things that I felt the most passionate about or that I felt like were the most noteworthy. So if there's anything I missed, make sure you let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you think about my opinions about all this stuff as well. I always like to hear your guys' feedback. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Remember, if you enjoyed my ranting, make sure you leave a like on the video, and if you're new, consider dropping a sub as well. But anyway, like I said, that's going to do it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.